The S&P 500 is finally pulling back and trying to get back in line with the AD line. If this pullback continues, it could come down to the 5850 level. To find out where this level comes from, go read the part 1 of this week's market review and analysis in my Substack newsletter, The Pulse of the Market. You'll find a link to this post in the description below. All right, let's take a look at the cash index of the S&P 500. As you can see that last week it made a move to this 1x extension of this balance area and came back down and tested this level here for support, this 6336 level. You see on the Thursday actually gap up and put in a new all-time high, only got faded, and it faded back down to this 6336 level once again. Then on Friday actually came back into this lower range of the weekly expected move and also back inside of this balance area. So for the coming week, we're going to be watching to see what the price continue to move down toward this this balance area. And here's what the market is pricing in for the coming week. On the upper range, it's pricing in between 63.60 and 63.54.10. And on the lower range, it's pricing in between 61.21.90 and 60.60. Now notice on the monthly expected move, on the lower range is actually pricing in between 6,016.40 and 5,890. Remember earlier I mentioned that we're projecting a move down to possibly 58.50 area. Well, this right now on this monthly expected move on the lower range is pretty much close into that range there. So for the coming week, we're basically looking for a little bit of a continuation move downside, breaking this balance area and pushes into this lower range of the weekly expected move. I'm looking for the price to come down to the 6100 area, and that would be my downside scenario. Now for the upside, if it come back up, we probably see a little bit of a test of this upper range. This balance area, upper edge, somewhere around this 6300 area. And for the E-mini S&P 500 future, we see that it actually traced back down to the lower edge of the balance area on Friday, after it made this extension, that 1x extension move on Thursday with the gap up. So right now, we're basically looking for these price action to continue to move downside. And here is what the market is pricing in for the coming week. It is pricing in the upper range between 63.85 and 63.79.5. And the lower range is between 61.47 and 60.85. So what I will be watching for is the break below the 62.40. That's basically coming down below this balance area and move down into the lower range of the weekly expected move and break below this 61.50 area. Now for the upside, we could see a little bounce and maybe come back up into this area here, and that would be somewhere around this 63.15 area here on this low volume or a volume dent location here on a bounce. And for the SPY, we also saw the SPY came up and tagged the 1x extension of this balance area, and also came down and retest this 631.50 level here a couple times. On Friday, it came back into this balance area and closed below the lower range of the expected move. And here's what the market is pricing in for the coming week. It's pricing in 633.50 or 633.60 for the upper range. And the lower range is pricing in between 609.90 and 604. So for the coming week, I'd be watching for the price to come down to this lower edge of this balance area and possibly break it and come down to the 610 area into this lower range of the expected move. So the key level to watch on the downside is 617.88. Basically this edge of this balance area. If we do see a low bounce, we probably will see it come back up to somewhere around this 628, and most likely will encounter resistance there and possibly get a rejection and reverse back down. And for the NQ, the E-mini Nasdaq 100 future, we also saw it close below the weekly lower range. and retrace all the way back down to the lower edge of this balance area plus more. Actually dipped below that and it came back in. So for the coming week, the market is pricing in the upper range between 23,375 and 23,354, and the lower range between 22,386 and 22,150. So basically, we'll continue to watch for the price to move down and come down into this below the 22,400 area and into this lower range of the expected move. So this is the key level to watch, 22,835. If we do get a bounce, then we might see a bounce to try to come back up to this upper edge of this balance area near the 23,276. And for the QQQ, we saw the QQQ came up, did the extension, the 1x extension plus more, put in a new all-time high, came back down and test this level here and failed to hold. Then on Friday, actually came down to almost to the lower edge of this balance area before it bounces up a little bit, but still close below the lower range of the weekly expected move. And for the coming week, the market is actually pricing in a 565, 566 area for the upper range. And for the lower ranges between 541.80 and 536. So what we'll be watching is, again, looking for a break below this balance area at 551.50 and come down to this 540 area into this lower range of the expected move. And if we do get a bounce, we might see a bounce up here to this 562 area, then counter resistance and get a rejection back down. So those are the price action scenario that we'll be watching for in the coming week. Thank you for watching. If you like the content, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to this channel, click the subscribe icon to subscribe and help support this channel. Now, for more content from me, go visit my newsletter at smtraderCA.substack.com. You will find trade ideas, daily trade plans, weekly market review and analysis, trading tutorial and strategies, and much more in my newsletter, The Pulse of the Market. And the link is smtraderCA.substack.com.